Hey, what's up? This is Brandon Simmons for brandonsimmons.biz, and this is my weekly video blog called Bullheaded, a review of the Houston Texans news as well as a preview of the upcoming game matchups. This week, the Texans are going to go into Indianapolis to try to get a win against the Colts. Now, as easy as that sounded to say, that wasn't as easy. It's not going to be as easy for the Texans, especially with the Colts trying to heat up just a little bit. Right now, the Texans are tied with the Colts and the Tennessee Titans for first place in the AFC South at 6-6, and both teams are playing a little bit better than what they were at the beginning of the year. As for the Texans, it might not be the same story. After coming off their bye week, I believe, after getting a win over the Jacksonville Jaguars after their bye week and rising up to like 6-3, the Texans have been on a 3-game losing streak, including last Sunday's defeat to the Green Bay Packers. Now they're coming into this game trying to fight for their playoff lives with 3 of their last 4 games against division opponents. Can they make the playoffs? They probably can. Is it going to be easy? Hell no. Let me tell you why, man. First off, going back and looking at the game against the Packers, you kind of got the feeling that, you know, maybe this isn't all on Osweiler. The O line, they just really wasn't playing that great. Osweiler got sacked a couple times, got a couple of, yeah, at a couple of key moments, and it just forced them to make bad decisions, as been the evidence of his bad play this year. That's really mostly of what it's been about, just him making bad throws in the coverage and all this other stuff. And it kind of makes sense. Our O line's been hurt most of the year, so they've been making different combinations. There's no consistency, no familiarity. Hell, I arguably best offensive lineman Dwayne Brown, he started the season off missing a good chunk of the season. So definitely, I don't. It kind of factored into how Osweiler playing. I'm not trying to bail him out. Don't get me wrong. Like, you still took the ball in your hands and you still threw those interceptions, just like you still threw those touchdowns. So definitely, that's going to be an issue. That's going to affect Osweiler, and as a large whole, as an offense, going to affect the offense, going to affect the defense. It's a big problem. But another problem is just the injuries themselves. I mean, look, I'm pulling up this injury report right now, and the list for the did not participate is crazy. Is Tyler Irvin out, Jonathan Joseph questionable, Braxton Miller out, Tom Savage out, John Simon out, Jalen Strong out. With the exception of Tom Savage, it's pretty much a list of guys that you hear on a somewhat regular basis making plays for us, at key moments of the game, whether we're winning or losing. So it's like the Texans want to win. We want them to win. But at the same time, how are they going to win when you have guys, that are out? Last week, Clowney was out. So our pass rush probably wasn't even that great. Um, I get it. It's the NFL. They've played 13, 14 games so far. So everybody's going to be hurt. There's no more bye weeks to heal up and all this other stuff. So people are tired, limping around, all this crap going on. And so, yeah, you're going to get injuries. But, yo, this is like a week in and week out thing. Like, guys are just, not preparing. I mean, not preparing. Guys are just not healthy. You know what I'm saying? So, it's going to be crucial. I mean, I'm pretty sure most of them are playing hurt. They just have something that's either not on this list right now, or they're just the guys that are questionable. Just like, what, I'm just gonna heal up by Saturday. Sunday I'll be good to go. Or at game time I'll make that decision whether or not I can go or not. So I definitely think injuries are going to play a part in our success. How we're gonna finish out the season, and as I mentioned, 3 of our last 4 opponents are division opponents. We have the Colts. We have the Jaguars next week at home, which is, probably a good little wash right there, good W for us. Um, we have the Tennessee Titans on the season finale on the road in Tennessee. So, I mean, these two, it's going to be important for us to win these road games because it's going to show, like, if we do make the playoffs, are we going to be able to if we don't get the division for some odd reason, but we do make it in as a fifth seed or sixth seed, are we able to win on the road? Hell, if we even if we do get the division, more than likely we're probably going to be a fourth seed. So if we win the first round, being a fourth seed, we're going to have to go on the road more than likely, and probably going to be on the road the next two times. In the division championship and in the AFC championship as well. So um, definitely it's crunch time for the Texans. And all these injuries and everything, they just seem to pop up, especially in game. Is like, I think I don't know, they got to do something to just better prepare them to be more healthy and just watch out for them. Because, if we're injured now, like, what's it going to be like in the playoffs? So definitely is something to watch out for, and I think it's really gonna play a factor in how we do this playoff run. But with that being said, the run continues tomorrow. Still, Texans are still in it, still in first place, but they gotta get rid of these damn Colts, man. And look, I haven't seen too much of the Colts this season, other than a couple maybe national TV games or when it's definitely when they played us. But one thing is still for certain, they still have issues with their defense, and so coming into this game, even watching last week's Monday night game, they blew out the New York Jets, who's having a crap season anyway. But in that first quarter, when things were fairly competitive, you could still see that they were having a little bit of issues as far as like with their defense. Guys were, catching a few passes in the secondary, all that other stuff, man. So I think it's something that the Texans are definitely going to have to take advantage of. The Colts are close to the bottom in the league as far as allowing yards, overall yardage, passing yardage, running yards. Their run game on offense isn't even that great. I think they average like 99 a game, which is like in the lower 20s or something like that as far as rankings go. So that makes sense considering that their main running back is Frank Gore, who almost blew us up the last time we played him. So I think for this game, one of the key things that they're going to have to do, and a lot of people might not like this idea at all, but screw it. Oswald, this is the game that Oswald is going to have to, find his groove again. The last time they played the Colts, Oswald had a season high 269 yards. Um, like I said, Colts secondary still has not changed at all. Like it's still the little suspect secondary has been has been known to have for the last couple years or so. So um, definitely, I think Osweiler is going to have to, attack the secondary. I think, for DeAndre Hopkins, who hasn't had the greatest of seasons that many people have expected him to, and probably because, issues with the QB and all that other stuff. Um, I think this is going to be a great game for him to actually go out there and just, kind of put the world on notice, like, hey, I'm still that dude, you know. Um, but that's gonna have to depend on how Osweiler just moves the ball around as well. The tight ends, tremendous improvement from last year. As I've preached about most of the season, they're gonna have to step it up. I think Fidelowitz I think he was the leading receiver, if I'm not mistaken, in the last game, and he actually caught one of the touchdowns just to put us in position to go win I think he took the game tying touchdown, if I'm not mistaken. So now that Jalen Strong is out, he's going to be a key receiver against these Colts. I just really think, this might be the game that Osweiler goes 300. Don't hold me to that, but But anyway, this might be the game that he goes 300, maybe not. But I think he still has a great game. I think he tosses up maybe 2 or 3 touchdowns for sure. I definitely think he gets himself at least 2 touchdowns, and that will probably open up our run game. If they see Osweiler's balling out right now, some of the safeties might fall back a little bit, and that opens up a little bit for our running backs, to Lamar Miller to get in. Hopefully, Alfred Blue will be in this game. I didn't see him on the injury report, so hopefully we get that 1-2 combo that has worked quite a few times in the fourth quarter. But hopefully, it comes around in early on in the first and early on in the first quarter, and we can just kind of mix things up a little bit. But definitely, I look for our passing game to just kind of manhandle their secondary and just come away with this W. But that's all I got for now. Until then, I'm Brandon Simmons for brandonsimmons.biz. Holla black.